Hello and welcome to our channel Typebook. We are Chris and Rose, INTJ and INFJ, and we are cataloging a variety of people based on their Jungian psychological type and their MBTI four-letter abbreviations. Today we are taking a look at Barbra Streisand. Chris, what does consensus say she is?
ENTJ. ENFJ has a couple of votes and ISFP has a couple of votes, believe it or not, but overwhelmingly ENTJ. But of course we disagree, so we're going to use this footage to intuitively prompt us and tell you why. 3, 2, 1, go.
In a room, I think, and sacked everybody who was on the left-hand side of the room.
Now, how come you said that? Did you know that I used that today as an example?
No, I had no idea.
I said it's one of the most ludicrous stories I've ever heard.
It's a great story, isn't it?
Isn't it great? Like, who do they? You see, they have. Who is they? I don't even know if. I don't even think it's the public. I think it's the press. You know, trying to create sensationalism in journalism, and it's like creating this person, who is La Diva. You know, La Streisand, the power monger, mogul, lady, man eater. I don't know what, you know, give me all those names. It's like this powerful woman devours people. You know, she walks into a room and goes, everyone on the left is fired. I love it. Why not the right? Why not the back? You know, I mean, it's so unbelievable. We don't operate that way. People who are in positions of power, people who are at all truly talented or professional, it's crazy. I pray to God people don't believe stories like that.
And yet if you had a great advisor, maybe that advisor would have said to you, for instance, when you made Yentl, maybe you shouldn't have been so prominent in all the credits and so on, because that might feed the image that you are all dominant and all powerful.
Yeah, but you know something? It's the truth. Should I not put a credit that I co-wrote the screenplay? I'm proud of what I did. And should I not say I produced the movie? Should I not say I directed the movie? Should I not even put my name as the star? I shouldn't say I sang in it. I shouldn't say, you know what I'm saying? I go through it. I say, yeah, my friends say, you know, you're not going to be liked if you say that. I said, but who did it?
This to me is so TI, and not just TI, but NTP TI. Because my mind thinks the same way, but I'm not as quick. So when she was talking about that story, because the press was saying she walked in and she fired everyone on the left side of the room. And she said, well, why not the right? Why not people behind me? There's this quick, logical way of thinking in TI, especially I've seen it in the NTPs. They're so quick in this way. Like they're quick to shred the story, to show you the irrationality in it. Like this story just doesn't make sense because it's too specific. Why didn't they say this or why didn't they say that? And I see that a lot with NTPs in particular. They're very concerned with the truth and the reality, the literal truth of a thing. So for her, why did you put your name on well, because it's the truth. I did these things. Should I not, take credit for all this? This is what I've done. This is the fact of the matter. It should be presented this way. And they get very upset when things are not true to the truth of the story in this way. It really irritates them.
There's definitely a way they sort of walk through with you that TI does, that T just wouldn't. Like, I would just laugh and say, I might say the same thing, but I don't like guide someone through the thinking of it. But TI seems to like start and go to the end, and that's it. It's like a one-way street or something.
And I think it's important to differentiate here because she's typed as ENTJ, and probably in this exchange, if someone were to watch this, they'd say, look how forceful she's being. But what is she being forceful to?
She's a tough cookie, and that's probably why they would say ENTJ, because she's protesting. She's saying, that's not fair, that's rubbish. Why would they say that about me? But there's no TE there.
No.
I mean, she's more like pleading, like, for justice, rather than being like,
exactly.
I don't think so, mate.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I see this in NTPs all the time. They get so irritated by this kind of stuff because it's not factual. People are like, oh, TE is all about facts. And it's like, well, when it comes to the story, especially for these NTPs, they want the story correct. Don't misrepresent me. Don't misrepresent what I've said. They all get so bothered.
I feel like it bothers them in like a very FE kind of way. This is like the FE coming out as much as the TI, to be honest.
And you said she's a tough cookie. Well, sometimes, but she's very attuned to the emotional state of things.
Yeah, I mean, tough cookie in terms of she's standing her ground and saying, no, that's not right, this isn't fair. Yes. But it's very like akin to ESTP, to be honest. They do the same thing. They're like, well, oh, that's rubbish. Oh, that's unfair. I don't want that. That affects me. They're always complaining in that vein when there's a miscarriage of justice against them. FI is not like this. 3, 2, 1, go.
Here's a woman who is being labeled nuts. And she's fighting the system and fighting her parents and fighting the doctors and everyone who wants to put her away, a completely misunderstood character.
Do you actually live the part at all? I know that you actually visited one or two mental institutions, didn't you? And
several.
Yeah, I'd say you visited several. What was your findings there?
That the doctors were crazier than the patients.
Really serious?
I swear to you. I mean, I went to this one mental hospital. The doctors don't wear white coats, so they look like the patients. And this guy was dressed real funny, in a baseball cap and a funny big rodeo belt. And when somebody asked for a chair, like, could we have another chair to sit and talk to this patient, he turned on the nurse and yelled at her in this crazy way. Don't you interfere with it. I mean, it was absolutely paranoid nutsy poo.
The film's called Nuts, but do you believe the real nuts are the people running the planet?
Yeah. I do. I do.
Right,
people who are destroying the ozone.
Paranoid nutsy poo. I just that's funny. Again, she's just a serious woman, right? Like, just kind of dishing it, and she goes, it's paranoid nutsy poo. That's the things that jump out to me.
I understand why people would say ENTJ. Because she has that sort of like, no, I'm not going down without a fight kind of thing. But it's more like FE feistiness than,
right.
ENTJ. Nope, I'm absolutely sure, and this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can contrast her with, we have Trini Woodall in our ENTJ playlists, and we have Katie Hopkins. There's a difference between these women.
Yeah. And again, she's more like an ESTP, like Katharine Hepburn, for instance. There's like a delicateness there.
Right.
As well as being quite, perhaps domineering and like wanting it their own way and protesting.
Well, I think with ENTJ especially, there's no way to soften the blow because the extroverted functions are TE, SE, where hers are NE, FE. And the NE can be funny, like, oh, paranoid nutsy poo, And then the FE can be what FE is. And so even though she's tough, she still softens the blow with those two extroverted functions.
Yeah, it comes off a lot better.
Yeah, because TE and SE can be,
like a victim, even though she's standing up for herself. She's not like rolling over and dying. She's protesting, but she's also doing it like in a way where it's emotional. It's logical, and she's telling you how it is, and she's very quick in the thinking department, but she's still emotional in it. She's saying it's ridiculous, this isn't fair. T, I don't know, it's just different.
Okay, we jumped ahead a little bit.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Or are you different in that respect? You prefer...
I don't, it scares me. I have stage fright. I don't like to be in a group of... it's almost too much love. This strange kind of love. People who think they love me, but they don't know me.
Yeah.
They know this voice or this image, or... It's a strange, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know.
The power frightens you, does it?
It's just uncomfortable.
Are you a tense person? Do you get very tense before those things?
Very, very frightened, yeah.
What do you do to cope with that?
I just don't sing in public.
It's funny how she said doesn't know what to do with the quote-unquote love that the audience gives her. She knows it's not real, and in the sense that they love her music.
Right. They love what they think she is.
Yes, and that makes her very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that would creep me out as well.
Yes.
Because it's almost like uncanny or something.
Yes.
Or you're being someone else.
They want real emotional experiences, but at the same time, they're highly uncomfortable with it.
You could say, does she intuitively know that there's something wrong with being famous?
Well, she said it in interviews that she doesn't really like it. She knows it's the price she has to pay, but she doesn't like it. She's very uncomfortable with it. She's very awkward with personal feelings. And we can't show every single video clip, but do you remember the one we watched when she's talking about her father?
Yes.
She was very awkward in it. She obviously had a lot. She cried. She was very emotional. But the whole exchange was extremely awkward. I think it's overwhelming in a way. Whereas when you look at like a dominant FE person, so we've talked about ESFJs that are singers or whatever, they really soak in that quote-unquote love from the audience. I mean, it's what they exist for.
Yes, because they're pleasing people and they
exactly
just love that.
Right. But I think the lower down it is, the more awkward it gets. They don't know what to do with it. What's the natural reaction here? How should I handle this? It gets more difficult then, I think.
I think they, us higher thinking types, we do overthink stuff. And, I can imagine, like, what you would feel and think about, all these people, like, completely hysterical. Like her presence on stage, like I feel like it would be creepy, and I would be probably very cynical about it. Like, these people don't really like me; they just they want me to do the singing.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Really, higher thinking, lower feeling in general. If you look at like an ISFJ, for instance, they're very humble, and we say that they're awkward in receiving praise, but they know how to do it. They're just kind of more graceful in accepting it. Whereas I just think with higher thinking, lower feeling individuals, it gets very awkward. Very awkward.
Right, because they're low in the feeling stack. So, like, I'm not sure how I would react. Well,
I mean, I get uncomfortable as well, and I deflect it to the other person. But see, I know how to handle it. I think with the lower feeling types, you can get into trouble with how you handle these things. I feel like for those of us who are feelers, like we might be uncomfortable, but we know how to handle it. We know what to do with it. We either deflect it or we just accept it gracefully or whatever. But lower feeling people can be very, I'm going to use this word, and it's not exactly what I want to convey, but you can be very immature in your reactions to that uncomfortableness.
I remember, like sometimes if I got compliments, I'd be like, "No, that's wrong. That's a silly idea. How dare you?"
Yeah.
And then they'd all be like, offended.
Yeah.
But I never meant to offend anyone.
Of course not. But there's like
because it was the awkwardness, like you're not comfortable with it, so then you're like, no, that's a stupid idea. Why would you say that?
Yes. Whereas that's not something I think a feeler type would ever say. I might think, okay, that's not true, but I'll just say, well, thank you, and try to put it on the other person or something. We just have more of a, it's how we deal. We understand it more, I guess. Thank you for sticking with us this far into the video. If you like what we're doing here, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and share this video, as this way of supporting us helps us grow our project at no cost to you. Also, don't forget to check out our playlists, where we have all our recorded videos organized by type. We have an extensive catalog, so have fun using the search bar to look for your favorite public figures.
Before we get back to the video, please take a minute to leave us a comment. What do you think about this type? Does this person remind you of someone? Do you have experience with this type? Feel free to leave your type requests in the comments too. The more requests for a particular person we get, the sooner we will get to typing them.
Thank you for all your support. It means so very much to us.
Okay, we skipped ahead. 3, 2, 1, go.
See yourself ever settling down in the sense that you take life a bit easier, you take months and months off?
Yeah, I'm doing that now. It's joyous. Not working.
Are you lazy? Are you a lazy person, do you think?
I'm a combination of someone who's very lazy and very driven. Yeah, I can easily be either one completely.
Yeah.
You know?
Does that explain the long gap between Yentl and Nuts? Was that the explanation for it?
I just need to recover, you know, need to re-nurture myself, need to observe life again, need to find out what excites my passions, you know, what kind of film I want to make.
Who would be the actors?
All right, let's stop. So it was interesting how she said that she can be extremely lazy and then extremely driven. But she talks about the periods in between where she needs to be re-inspired again. Now, of course, there are many types that can be this way. But I'm arguing in this instance that this is kind of clear-cut P-type, also NTP type, also NE, because I think that they need downtime to let their intuition go out there in the world in order to bring something back with which they can be inspired by and creative. Exactly. So we've skipped to another interview, and this is with her husband, James Brolin. I thought it was interesting because it shows the dynamic between them.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
You come to this dinner. We'll disguise the dinner with 30 other people, and you two will meet. We both tried to get kind of canceled the last time. We were driving on the way and going, God, do I need this, you know? A whole night gone, I could go to 2 movies.
Right. Then what happened?
They sat us down. They said,
Next
Jim,
to each
you're
other.
here. Barbara, you're here.
I looked at him and I said, because his hair really looked awful, I thought, you know. So I said,
Who
screwed up your hair? Who screwed up your hair?
That's a good beginning.
Yeah. And I just went, an honest person? And
all right, stop.
We huddled.
Okay, this is worth pointing out because she met him. The first thing she said to him is, who screwed up your hair? Again, this goes back to this awkwardness that they have. Now, I don't know if she was attracted to him at that moment. I'm guessing she probably was and didn't know what to do with it. So she says, who screwed up your hair? It's just this weird stuff comes out, right? Because they don't know what to do. There's a YouTuber, and we haven't typed her yet. She's not a celebrity, but we are sure she's an ENTP. And she recently shared a story of how when her boyfriend kissed her for the first time, when it was over, she looked at him and said, "Peace be with you." And this is so ENTP. It's just such, this is the NE, this is all of it together. It's just so.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so NE.
As Barbara would say, it's nutsy poo. Yeah, exactly.
I could imagine an ENFP doing something similar.
Perhaps, but again, it goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's the low feeling that makes them not sure how to handle these situations, right? Like, you know, it's kind of something, you know, you're feeling a certain way, whether it's love or, you know, what's going on, but you don't know how to deal with it. And I would think, as in particular as a woman, it's probably so much more difficult because you're expected by society to be able to navigate feelings and understand these sort of things. And they don't. They have trouble with this. So she meets this man. She thinks, wow, look at him. I'm sure she was attracted. And of course she says, who screwed up your hair? And probably, you know, in many other situations, the man wouldn't be put off by that, I guess, probably. But not this one, obviously. She's honest. Finally, an honest person, he said. He loved it. When we typed Jennifer Aniston, I think part of the disagreement was, where's her NE? And again, I think this is a very stereotypical thing that people have gotten into and basically can't see the forest for the trees, so to speak. Even though an ENTP is dominant NE, they are thinker types. They are NT types.
It's just more complex than that as well. Like, you're not just, oh, this behavior must be this function, where is it, show me the proof. It's not really like that.
No, and we just said it before we started recording. It's like as if you and I would be walking around, the streets or whatever, and we're NI dominants. It's almost like, according to stereotype, we should be staring up into space, running into every pole that comes into our path. Yes, and with our arms, like, complete, like we have no idea what we're doing with our arms, and then just, walking. I mean, that would be, oh, look at that. You could see the NI. I mean, that's how silly this all is. Like her NE is a part of her. Just even her saying, I need a break, I need re-inspiration. That's how she's using her NE to exist in this world. It's not so stereotypically cut and dry as people want to make it.
Yeah, not only do they want to box the 16 types and say,
yes, they want to box the functions.
Exactly. They want to box the functions and isolate
them.
When
that's exactly right.
It's a chain.
That's right.
There's no necklace without all its congruent parts together, and that's what the types are.
So, saying all that, if you want a clear demonstration of the NE, and not just the NE, but the NE in the ENTP especially, the humor has a certain flavor to it. So this is taken from a special from 1965. And if you really want to study ENTP, especially ENTP female, I recommend that you watch this special, because this really gives you a feel of the ENTP stack. The NE, the TI, the FE, all of it.
Yes. Altogether, inseparable ENTP.
But I can't help it. I like to wear clothes like these because they're old and they're broken in already. And the knees bulge at the knees, and the wrinkles wrinkle where I wrinkle.
Talk about twists and turns in that story. That story is all over the place.
Yeah, it's very random.
Uh-huh. But she knew where she was going with it, though.
If people did watch things like this, when they type people, they might say ENFP. Because, she's probably most similar to someone like Jennifer Lawrence, maybe. But you can see, like, the sharp, quick thinkerisms in the relaying of the story, and the FE in how it's told. It's different.
The reason I chose this next clip is because it really shows these crazy facial expressions. I mean, this is just any Effie in a nutshell, really. Her outward, portrayal of just ridiculousness.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
You could literally watch that clip without sound and still laugh. I mean, it's all out there. This is very like a la Mr. Bean kind of thing, where it's the facial expressions, it's the way they use their body and all. It's just when they really just let loose, and I think it's almost like their inner real self just coming out. Like, here I am, I'm a nut. To support our project, please comment, like, and subscribe. We want to encourage a dialogue in the comments, so substantiated disagreement is welcome. Check out the playlist for this type and our recommended video below. If there's someone you want us to type, please leave a comment for us. Or you can look into our fast track system to find out how you can get your favorite people typed sooner.